Hey Snackers, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with the Snackmaster. I am your Snackmaster, Matt Rothstein, and what do we got for you today, gang? Well, today we got some Indian food. It's going to be fantastic. Some buddies got me into it recently, and my cousin Judy back in Rhode Island gave me an idea, because this is fall, right? Fall is what kind of season? What's good? Apples. Apples are in season right now. So that was the impetus for this whole dish. Because what do we got today, gang? Pan-seared curried pork chops with apple chutney and curried roasted potatoes. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to have all sorts of Indian flavors going on. They're going to be vibrant. They're going to be fantastic and delicious. So why don't we just jump right into it? First thing we got to do is our apple chutney. I got here a bowl of 2 apples, whole apples that I peeled, cored, and diced up in a medium-sized dice here. They're sitting right now in water with a little bit of lemon juice because that helps to keep them from browning. And what I want to do first is I just want to strain these off. So I got my strainer. And this chutney, the thing about the chutney that's good is that it's a real easy recipe to put together. You're basically just going to throw a bunch of things in a pot and let them cook down for a bit, which is fantastic. So why don't we get that going? We got our pot here. Put our apples in. Okay. With the apples, we're going to put in, I have 1 onion, that medium-sized onion that I diced finely. That's going to go in with it. We got about half a cup of brown sugar. We have some kosher salt, some ground mustard, cinnamon, ground clove. That doesn't want to cooperate. We have here some ground ginger, some black pepper, hot Madras curry powder. This is important because now we're getting into the Indian flavors. This is a spice blend that's commonly used, at least in the versions of Indian food that we know about. If you went to India and said curry powder, I don't think they know what you're talking about. They have, but this is what we use. We also have here some cardamom. They use that a lot over there. That's an Indian spice. A little bit of crushed red pepper, because I know we're using apples, but this is actually a savory dish. This is not sweet. It's not meant to be sweet. So we also have here some garam masala. Garam masala is an Indian spice blend, and this they do know about in India. And masala pretty much just means spice blend. So when you have something like this, it can contain all sorts of different spices that are indigenous to that region of the world. Pretty much every family has their own version of garam masala, so I can't tell you specifically, well, what's in it is this, this, and this, because it varies. But we put that in there, and we're just going to add now about a cup of apple juice to this, because you've got to have some liquid with it. Is that about right? Yeah. Now we're just going to move that around just a little bit. Get it together. Put it on the stove. We're going to cook that a while until the onions are tender, until the apples are tender. It's going to take about an hour or so. Then we're going to take the lid off. It's actually about 45 minutes we'll take off the lid, because we're going to want to let the liquid cook out after that 45 minutes so that it becomes thick and syrupy and delicious. So at the end, we're probably going to finish that off with a little bit of butter, because butter is good in everything. And then I'm going to show you a little secret we're going to do with some of that chutney, because a little bit of that is going to go in our sauce for the pork chops. So stick around, and we're going to get to those pork chops in just a minute. Well, alright gang, we are back on Cooking with the Snackmaster, and it's time to get into a little bit of this pork, because the pork is fantastic. I love pork. Snackmaster is a pork kind of guy. And in India, they'll eat pork. They'll eat pork, they'll eat chicken, they'll eat lots of things, just not so much the beef. I think most of you know that story. But pork is just fine. So what we got to do with this pork is it's going to be pan-sauteed or pan-seared. So we got nice pork chops here that are cut from a loin, a whole pork loin, boneless pork loin. So we got to season it. You know, we season everything, right? So what do I got? I got kosher salt. So we're going to sprinkle these kind of liberally here. Salt, then with pepper. Then we're going to mirror some of the flavors. This is important. We're going to mirror the flavors that we have going in our chutney, that we have going into a lot of our various different dishes today. Because you know what? When you reinforce the flavor from one thing to the next, it makes a composed dish. It makes everything taste like it belongs together, which is very important when you want to make a nice meal. So what we're going to do now with these pork chops to add a little seasoning that reinforces is we have more of our curry powder. I'm going to hit that on here. Beautiful color, it's fantastic. And we also have more of our garam masala. We're going to put that on. We'll get all of that in there. And then we're going to have snacky orange fingers, which is fun. Again, give that a little bit of a pat down so the spices adhere a little bit. Then we're going to turn them over, season the other side, because you know what? Your food has to taste like something on both sides. And do the same thing. Right, now that we got those seasoned on both sides, what we're going to do is when you pan-sear something or pan-saute, you want to lightly coat it in flour because it's going to help with browning, it's going to help with a crust, but lightly coated is the key. We're not looking to bread this, it's not going to be thick. So I'm just going to pick up one of these chops, and I have here seasoned flour, right here. And we're just going to lightly like that, same just a little bit, and make sure to shake off the excess. Just one little bit on there. All right, so now that we got these seasoned and we got them very lightly coated in flour, the next step is going to be to go over to this pan right here and we're going to brown them off. So we'll see how to do that in just a minute. But first, when we come back, gang, we're going to get our potatoes going and get those in the oven. Now it's time we're going to get into our curry roasted potatoes. These are a nice dish. They do eat a lot of potatoes over there. It's a very nice side dish to go with a good piece of meat. So, got our potatoes. Dump them in there. Gonna hit them with some olive oil. Alright. Good amount of that. Just take them, toss them to combine, toss them to coat them. See that? A little bit of the bowl flipping action. Don't try that at home, kids. You're gonna end up with potatoes on your floor. You can just stir this around with a spoon, you'll be just fine. But Snacky has to entertain you, right? So, we got that going. Now we're just gonna, again, hit these with some salt. And hit them with some pepper. And once again, since we're gonna be mirroring and reinforcing our flavors, more garam masala goes right in there. And more curry powder. Like I said, these are curry potatoes. Not going to be very much curry potatoes without curry on them. So now we have all that in there. Just going to again give it a toss so that all that spice gets evenly distributed. And those are looking fantastic. Oh, they smell fantastic. Oh, I love that smell. So we got that. We're going to take this and put this on a sheet tray, even it out. That's all it takes. And this goes into a 425-degree oven for about 30-35 minutes until they're brown on the outside, but fork tender. So there's your curried potatoes. We're going to get them going and we'll be right back. In the next step, pork. Oh, don't miss that, guys. We'll be right back. All right, snackers, we are back here on Cooking with the Snackmaster, and it's time to get into this pork. We got the pan-seared or pan-sauteed. Use whatever fancy restaurant term you like. Let's get some olive oil. Not a lot, because again, we're not deep frying, we're sauteing. There is a difference. Some oil is in the pan to assist browning and to stop sticking. That's really all it's there for. It's already got some smoke coming up to it, which means we're ready to go. So we'll just take our pork chops and we're going to add them to the pan. And those guys are going to cook for about 6 minutes per side. And that's really all you're going to need, and they're going to be fantastic. You don't have to cook pork to death anymore, gang. Pork is safe. All right, gang, we are back here on Cooking with the Snackmaster. These pork chops, they've been doing their thing for 6 minutes now. So it's time to turn them over. And oh, look at that. That is golden brown and delicious. And that's what you want out of your pork chops. Golden brown and delicious. Those look fantastic. That's a classic saute right there. So now those are turned. We're going to give them 6 minutes on this side so they cook all the way through and get that lovely brown on both sides. Then we're going to go ahead and put them up on a clean plate, let them rest for a while, and then we're going to make a pan sauce. That's right, gang, pan sauce again. Snacky loves pan sauces. Pan sauces taste good. This one is going to be a little bit special. Just wait till you see it. Stick around, I'll cook it with the Snackmaster. Kids, we are back on cooking with the Snackmaster, and as you can see, we have golden brown and delicious on both sides. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful, beautiful pork chop. So now what we're going to do is take those, put them on a plate, and those are just going to rest for a little bit. And the next step is, see all that brown stuff in the pan? We're going to deglaze and we're going to make a pan sauce. So let's get into that. And we are almost ready to get into that pan sauce, but first, let's take a look at, oh, look at that beautiful apple chutney. Can you see that, kids? Take a look at that. It's gorgeous, it's flavorful, it's colorful. And what we just need to let it do now is, now that we took the lid off, we're going to let that liquid in there, going to let that reduce, and when that is thick and syrupy and just about evaporated, then that's going to be ready to serve. And here's going to be one of our little secrets now that I'm going to tell you. Part of this goes in here. That's right, our little food processor. We're going to puree some of this, and we're going to use that as part of our pan sauce, because that's a common Indian food technique, is to take sauteed vegetables and whatnot, puree them, and add them to your sauce. So we're going to do that, gang. So this looks fantastic. Oh, it smells so good. I can't stand it. And we're going to let that reduce. We are back here on Cooking with the Snackmaster, and this chutney, you can take a look right there. All the liquid is gone. It's all cooked down just the way I want it to be, and it's looking fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish it with a little bit of butter, just like I said before, because butter's wonderful. I'm just going to stir that in, and then I'm going to put the heat down to low just so we can keep it warm. And it's time to buzz some of this, because like I said, we need some of this for our sauce. So let's get some. It's going to be just a little bit now. Take some here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this recipe didn't make a ton, but you know what? I don't cook for 50 people. This is me and Mikey. And this chutney is a little spicy, so I don't even know if Mikey's going to eat it anyway. But this is going to be good for us, kids. So let's get cracking here. I'm going to put this on, click it in, and give him a buzz. Let's take a look. Yeah, there we go. That right there is a nice, smooth puree. So we're going to use that in our sauce. So let's go back over there and make the sauce, gang, and we'll be right back. It's time to make up our sauce. So like I said, we got this pan here with the yummy bits that we want to deglaze. So the first thing I'm going to add to that is a little bit of chicken stock. Ooh, there we go. Use this. Use this to get up off those delicious bits on the bottom, because those are all flavor and we want those. And we're going to let this reduce, and it's doing it pretty quickly here, which is great. And then to that reduced stock, we want to add some apple juice. If you have cider and want to use cider, that'd be fantastic. I don't happen to have any cider today, so I'm using what I got. Okay, get that in there. That's going to come up to temperature and reduce a little bit. And then we're going to add in our puree. Let's get into a pretty good consistency, because we don't want to get rid of it all, because it is a sauce, so obviously it has to have some liquid to it. And we're going to get a lot of thickening right now from this puree when we add it in. So we add in our puree, and we're going to whisk that in to incorporate it. See, now we got a sauce going, don't we, kids? Just like that. And to bring it all together, a little bit of butter. Okay, now that is looking pretty good like a sauce to me. I want to give it a taste. And that's pretty darn good. What we're actually going to do now is take our rested pork chops and add them back into this sauce so they can get warmed back up. And so they can get that lovely sauce on there, of course. And these are going to be ready to go, kids, in just a minute. So we're going to see you back over at the counter when it's time to plate everything up. So stick around and we'll be right back on Cooking with the Snackmaster. Hey kids, we're back on Cooking with the Snackmaster, and it's going to be time to plate this stuff up. So let's get it going because I can't wait to eat. First things, let's get our potatoes out of the oven. We didn't forget about those, right? Lovely brown roasted potatoes that are just fantastic. Just kind of move them around a little bit so they'll come off the pan. I'm going to add them to a bowl here. Because right now they're flavorful, but they're a little dry. So we're going to work on that. Got a little bit of butter here. And a little bit of olive oil. Okay. We're just going to give that a toss. Now remember, they're already very nicely seasoned with the curry powder and the garam masala and all that lovely stuff. But this now is going to get them nice and moist. The olive oil and the butter will almost make a little bit of sauce. And oh, look at that. Fantastic. So yeah, so those are good like that. What's next? Chutney. Let's not forget that. We have our beautiful apple chutney right here. I'm going to put a portion nice right there in the middle of the plate. A little bit more like that. Fantastic. Now, pork chops. They've already been nicely pan sauteed. Then they were coated in that sauce to warm them back up. We put them over the chutney like that to give a little bit of height and niceness on the plate. We're going to get a little bit of our nice potatoes here. Add that to the plate too, right here. Oh yeah, and that's a pretty plate. One last thing, we need some sauce. So we have our sauce right here. Oh, look at that. Put that right over one pork chop, right over the other. A little more if we want. And that is some snacking, kids. You just got to have a look at this plate. Come here. Look at this. See? Huh? Beautiful. Got our chutney with that rich dark color. Our nice chops. Our beautiful potatoes, nice and brown, golden brown and delicious. Can't wait anymore. Just can't. First, gotta try one of those potatoes. Crispy, flavorful, delicious. But I gotta have the pièce de résistance. I gotta have the pork I gotta have it with some of the chutney. That right there, kids, is, for me anyway, for the Snackmaster who's new with this, that's a trip to Bombay, gang, trip to New Delhi. We're hanging out at the Taj Mahal and we're eating up with some beautiful, beautiful Indian food. Don't forget to check us out. Hey, wait a minute. Don't forget to check something else out. Michael, come here. Look who's here. Look who's home from school. Hey, what do we got there, buddy? Come here. Come here so they can see you. Say hi.
Hi.
What do we got? Look, pork chops, Michael.
Yeah.
And potatoes. That apple chutney, it might be a little too spicy for you, gang, but you're going to like the rest of this, okay, kid?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to fix you up a plate. So go play, Daddy. Daddy will make you dinner in a minute.
And that looks good.
Thank you, buddy. All right, so like I said, it's good to see him again. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/cookingwiththesnackmaster. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @the1snackmaster. Don't forget to check us out on our blog, which is cookingwiththesnackmaster.tumblr.com. So hang around with us, eat this Indian food, check it out. Indian with a snacky touch anyway. I don't know how authentic it is, but I know it's darn tasty. So you check it out, make sure to eat this, and we'll catch you next time on Cooking with the Snackmaster.